So you join us now for the grand final of the Kennel Club's Breeders Competition. Throughout the year 2014, heats have been held at championship shows all over the country for breeders to show dogs that they've bred in a group. And this is the final judging.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very enjoyable dogs display. We now come to the grand final of the Kennel Club Breeders Competition. Promoted by the Kennel Club in association with our dogs and supported by Yukonuma.
This competition's heats have been held throughout the year at the United Kingdom's General Championship dog shows.
Before our breeders team finalists enter the Genting main ring, it's my pleasure to introduce our judge for the grand final of this competition. A man who has experienced breeding and showing success in many breeds and has gone on to be one of the United Kingdom's top all-round judges.
So entering the ring now is our judge for this evening,
Europe, Africa,
Steve Hall.
Asia and the Americas.
Much respected,
Judging here at Crufts
judges
since
many
1999,
different breeds.
has been a group judge on 3 occasions. He's approved to award challenge certificates in 45 breeds.
And he, of course, has had the chance to pre-judge some of these. So outside the main ring this evening, he's already made his first selection. Otherwise, I think we'd be here all night, because what you're about to see is the main ring at Crufts filled with more dogs than you would have thought it was possible to put in here.
The main ring by Gerald King, Chairman of the Crufts Committee.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, be prepared for a fantastic spectacle of breeding excellence. And please show your appreciation by congratulating all the breeders' teams as they enter the ring in their group order, led in from the hound group.
So we see the representatives of the hound group, first of all, the Alawan Afghan hounds.
And they're followed by the Rangali Basset Fauve Breton.
Followed by the Rangali Basset Fauve de Bretagne. I love their French kiss outfits. Next in, a group of Petit Basset Griffon Vendien, these from the Kennel Mordaxi.
The Dye Basset Hounds.
The Osprey Beagles.
Now the Dye Basset hounds coming in. Followed by the Osprey Beagles.
Beagles, the Lane's End Beagles.
Then another kennel of beagles winning through, the Lane's End Beagles this time.
The Nibras Borzoi team.
A beautiful group of black and white Borzois, these from Nibras. And what a contrast. Miniature smooth Dachshunds, this from Sue Urgis's kennel, Sue Line.
And then the Carpaccio smooth-haired Dachshund.
Next size up, the smooth-haired Dachshunds, these from Kennel Carpaccio. The grace and flowing movement of a group of Ibiza hounds, these from the kennel Snowleaf.
And the Barrington Norwegian hounds.
Famous kennel this for Norwegian elk hounds, Bowerhinton. Pharaoh hounds now, this is from the Antepka kennel.
And then the Bernard Salukis.
Graceful gazelle hound from the deserts, the Salukis. These from the Fernlark kennel. Very enthusiastic to get into the ring, this one. The Windfly Whippets. And a beautiful group of Charlfleet Whippets. We move now to the terrier group. These are the Cedar Hill Border Terriers. The Janmark Bedlington Terriers are missing this evening, although they did qualify for the final. And the first of our Cairn Terrier groups, these from Carradine. Another group of Cairns, Cloverbrook this time. Followed by a little group of Chesky Terriers. Somebody's a little reluctant to go across the green carpet there. This is from the Comedian Kennel. No, thank you. I don't want to be here tonight. Oh, poor little person. That's it. Nice little treat, and then I'll cross the carpet. Smooth Fox Terriers now, Zetamaz. We're missing Miss Bradley's Irish Terrier kennel, but we move now to the and a soft-coated Wheatons are missing as well. These are the Affenpinchers. Darkle kennel. And the Magstare Bichon Frise. Cavalier King Charles Spaniel group now from Calolian. Followed by 3 long-coated Chihuahuas. These from the Mare Chris Kennel. Following hotly on their heels, the Smooth Cousins, Burmac this time. And 3 Chinese Cresteds from Bryalis. Beautiful coats of the Spinillion Papillon. And the little Pomeranians from the Lariva Kennel. Very popular breed here, the little pugs. These from Rajema. The first of the utilities, these are the Zentar Lhasa Apso. And of course it was the Zentar that took best in show at Crufts a few years ago. Under Frank Kane, my co-commentator. A little group of toy poodles, these from the Philora Kennel. Very enthusiastic front runner there. This is the Zusitsu Shih Tzu Kennel. That's a mouthful. We had several kennels of Tibetan Spaniels qualifying. These are the Matsuri leading the way. Followed by the Balgay Tibetan Spaniels. And then finally, the Shenrezi Tibetan Spaniels. And the Perslow's Tibetan Terriers. Now to the working group. These are Alaskan Malamutes. belonging to the Coromandel Kennel. The famous Meadow Park Bernese Mountain Dogs. They've won this competition before, of course. The impressive Zentor Newfoundlands. And the Palenrise Siberian Huskies. Next, the first of our pastoral breeders groups, the Foster Breed Briards. These are Estrella Mountain Dogs belonging to the Astorel Kennel. The Netzrich German Shepherds. And the Eriksford Swedish Valhunds, very smartly turned out. Now the breeders groups from the Gundog group, tonight's group of course, so they'll have a big round of applause. The Cavacane German Shorthair Pointers. A huge cheer there going up for the Hernwood Gordon Setters. A group of Hungarian wirehead Vishners now, these from Belatar. The groups would not be complete without golden retrievers in there, these the Largimore golden retrievers. Four Nova Scotia duck-tolling retrievers, these from the kennel Tolleries. And finally, a very famous old Clumber Spaniel kennel, the Tweedsmuir Clumber Spaniels. So that completes our breeders' groups. The ring is absolutely busting. And now Steve Hall will pull out those that he's prejudged as a cut, and then we'll be able to have a look at those in more detail. Just reminding himself of those he's looked at previously, walking down his line, very serious face there, full of concentration, past the Hernwood Gordon Setters. Estrella Mountain Dogs, Foster Breed Briards, lovely Newfies, and on to the Bernese Mountain Dogs, Meadow Park Kennel. Three groups of little Tibetan Spaniels. There's lovely little toy poodles. The Lhasa Apsos. And those little pugs all standing to attention. Steve now working his way through the toy group, past the Pomeranians, and the little Chinese crested. Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, of course, always such a popular breed, those from Calonian. There's little monkey-faced Affenpinchers at the front there. The Darkle Kennel. Smooth Fox Terriers, of course, on the tiptoes of expectation. Ken Terriers all milling about nicely, focused on treats. Cedar Hill borders, sleek lines of the Whippets, from Charlefleet and Windfly into the hound group now, of course. Bower Hinton elk hounds. And what the judge is looking for as he wanders down those lines, reminding himself again, is the uniformity of the dogs that each kennel has produced. How similar are the dogs to one another, as well as the quality of the dogs themselves. We call it breeding to type. Are the dogs similarly constructed? Do they look alike? Do they look like a group of family members? Look at those Bassets. What an example. A little more Daxi Petit Basset Griffon Vendien, the Rangali Basset Fauve de Bretagne, and of course first into the ring originally the Alouan Afghan hounds. Grace personified. Now Steve is going to tell us which of those he's going to shortlist. One final look around a ring stuffed full of dogs, I think it's fair to say. So the Afghan hounds come out. And the Mordaxi kennel of Petit Basset Griffon Vendien. Those lovely Basset hounds, the Dye Heath Basset hounds, the Bower Hinton elk hounds, the Charlefleet Whippets, that's the last of the hounds. Now we move on to the terrier group. Oh, no, we've gone all the way down to the toys, and we take the Rajema pugs. And onto the utility group when the Zentar Lhasa Apso have been pulled. Those glorious Bernese mountain dogs from the Meadow Park Kennel, they've done so well in this competition before, such good quality. And from the gun dog group, the Cavacane or Cavacane German Shorthair Pointers, and the Tweedsmuir Clumber Spaniel. So that's our final cut. We have 10 breeders groups there. And a big round of applause for all the others leaving the ring now. It'll take them a while to file out, and then Steve Hall will have the space to have a closer look at the groups that he's got there. Look at those Afghan hounds standing there like an absolute picture. The little Petit Basset Griffon Vendien, of course, such contenders here. It was a Petit that took best in show 2 years ago. And all that final cut moving up now so that Steve will be able to take another look at them and move them again. There's Steve taking a look at his the first of his cut. Here they are, the Alawan Afghan hounds. Handling, Liz Millwood, Claire Millwood, Annalise Gray and Antonia Leach. They come from Sheffield. And the pet names of these dogs are Natalie, Gracie, Marcus and Persia. Bred by Claire Millwood, Liz Millwood and Mrs. Mottershaw. So preparing to move these Afghans again. They've been breeding Afghan hounds for 25 years, competing at Crufts for 23 of those, and now showing a matched group of their own breeding. Such striking looking hounds always. And then moving around so the Afghans really get a chance to extend themselves to the back of the ring. Here we go, on now to the little Petit Basset Griffon Vendien group from Phil and Diane Reed's Mordaxi kennel. Handling in the ring, Phil and Diane, of course, and then Kerry McEwen and Caitlin Forbes. Phil and Diane are based in Peterborough, and this is Elvis, Jimmy, Coco and Mercy. And what we'll be expecting here is a strong driving action from these busy little dogs. They should really look like a rustic, rough little character who could work all day in the field. Chasing rabbits and yelling their heads off most of the time. Fortunately, they're not doing that here. They've lost a member of their group over there who's stopped for the call of nature. You've got to remember the green carpet does look just like grass. Catch up, catch up. There we go, given the chance to catch up and move them as a group. That's the Mordaxi Petit Basset Griffon Vendien. Move on now to the Dieheath Basset Hounds. Kennel of Mr. and Mrs. Staunton, Miss Melbourne, Mr. Eisted. Now, when you have a lot of different breeders like that, it means that there's various people who are working in partnership together. That often happens with pedigree dog breeding. Handlers are Di, Melbourne, Judith Heath, Carol Arklemore and Kevin Hurst. They come from Retford, and the dogs are Rosie, Marcy, Dylan and Connie. And they've been competing at Crufts for 33 years. Basset hounds, of course, taking their time, scenting all the way they go, which is exactly what they're supposed to do. Noses to the ground. They are low to ground and heavy built, but they should be free moving and able to cross a decent ploughed field. So there they go, the Dieheath Basset Hounds. And the hounds have been strongly represented in the breeders group this year, because this is another group of hounds, the Norwegian elk hounds from Bower Hinton Kennel of Mrs. Trina Morn. The handlers here are Debbie Morton, Trina Morn and Andrea Roberts, with Cracker, Bear and Kai. They come from Lincoln and have been breeding pedigree dogs for 25 years. You'll notice almost all of these breeders groups are coming forwards from people who've been breeding for many years, because it takes time and a lot of experience to produce dogs of this sort of quality. The Bower Hinton elk hounds, Norwegian elk hounds. Now, talking of long pedigrees, we move to the Shalfleet Whippets of Jane Wilton Clark. Second generation, the family's been in Whippets for 40 years. Handling Jane Wilton Clark, Charlie Donaldson and James Winkley Balmer, with Troy, Henry, Reva and Dawn. They're such graceful dogs, Whippets, and they should have this very characteristic, they're almost in tandem there, it's called a daisy cutting action with those front legs. The Shalfleet Whippets, beautifully coordinated, and now they're just going to take it up a gear. Now we go all the way down to the bottom of the toy group. These are the Rajema pugs from the kennel of Gail Saffer. Starbucks, Florence, Rookie and Solo, handled by Gail Saffer, Lucy Hill, Victoria Hill and Catherine Phelps Terrett. They come from Ilford in Essex. And another one with a long pedigree in the breed, 30 years breeding pedigree dogs. Come on, number 4, you need to catch up. Very smartly turned out. The outfits in the breeders group are always carefully thought out. You can imagine many hours shopping as well as many hours grooming. The Rajema pugs. And now we move to the utility group representatives. Margaret Anderson, Zentar Lhasa Apso Kennel. Margaret on the left there. And originally there were 4 of the Zentar Lhasa Apsos. One's missing. Handlers Katie Hart and Mary Roach. They come from Coventry, and they were to have had Morgan, George, Ollie and Megan, and I'm not sure which one's missing. And Margaret's had 37 years breeding pedigree dogs and has been incredibly successful with her Zentar Lhasa Apso kennel. I think the Lhasa Apso is a classic example of why judges need to put their hands on dogs with a coat like that. Judges need their fingertips to find what's underneath the coat. Beautiful looking Lhasa Apso. Now here we have the Meadow Park Bernese Mountain Dogs of Mesdames Bernice Mare and Carol Hartley Mare. Handling are Carol Hartley Mare, Gary Dybdale, Julie Baldwin and Cameron Cavallo with Rochdale. They come from Rochdale and they've got George, Eva, Zena and Nancy there. So far, they top the lot. 50 years breeding pedigree dogs. And a beautiful group of Bernese there. Now into the Gundog group. Sue and Pete Rose's Cavacane kennel, or Cavacane. German Shorthair pointers, of course. They come from Telford in Shropshire. Another one with one dog missing. Handling, Adam Rose, Hannah Rose and Richard Bott. And they should have had Morgan, Turtle, Fraggle and Twiggy. So my apologies to whoever you are, the one that's missing. 18 years breeding German Shorthaired pointers with a great deal of success in the show ring. And our final breeders group, this from Paul and Hilda Monaghan's Tweedsmuir Kennel. Clumber Spaniels, of course. Handling are Hilda, Susan Bowden, David Bowden and Edison Bowden, with Miller, Jensen, Connie and Cameron. They come from Wisbeach in Cambridgeshire. And Hilda says she bred her first litter back in 1986, but they've been showing here at Crufts since 1981. The Tweedsmuir Clumber Spaniels, all with tails now, of course. They were customarily docked, but not anymore. So that was the last of our breeders groups, and it's now up to Steve Hall to take another look and tell us who's going to have won the breeders competition for Crufts 2015. The Alawan Afghan hounds, the Mordaxi Petit Basset Griffon Vendien, Dieheath Basset hounds, the Bauer Hinton Norwegian elk hounds, oh, look at those, like a porcelain picture, the Shalfleet Whippets. The Rajema Pugs from the toy group. Three Zentar Laza Apso from the utility group. Meadow Park Bernese Mountain Dogs getting a round of applause. The Cavacane German Shorthaired Pointers, and finally the Tweedsmuir Clumber Spaniels. Now the boards are out. Oh, and it's going to be those beautiful Shalfleet Whippets. Take first place for Crufts 2015. Into second place, the little pugs from the toy group, the Rajema Pugs. Into third place, walking to the hound end of the line, congratulations go to the Alawan Afghans. And into 4th place, those beautiful Meadow Park Bernese Mountain Dogs. Shaking hands with the 4 handlers. But what a picture. It's Jane Wilton Clark's Shalfleet Whippets that take the Breeders' Competition for Crufts 2015. Troy, Henry, Reaver and Dawn representing a kennel with a 40-year heritage in this breed. There's Steve Hall, and here comes the presentation is going to be made by Vince Hogan there, who's being escorted into the ring by Anne MacDonald, Vice Chairman of the Crufts Committee. Vince congratulating the winners and handing over a decent amount of silver and crystal there. So congratulations go to Jane Wilton Clark. And the Shalfleet Whippets take the day.
And in 2nd position, the Regina Pugs.
So we're on down to 3rd place now was the Alawan Afghan Hounds. The Rajema Pugs, of course, were in 2nd, and in 4th, the Meadow Park Bernese Mountain Dogs. They've triumphed before. 4th place is very respectable in such fantastic company. And what a picture those Shalfleet Whippets make. Like 4 peas in a pod. Exactly what the judge is looking for in this breeders' competition.